Welcome to our life. Entrepreneurship. Do we really know what that word means? So before I introduce my phenomenal guest, let me give you a quick removing the mask fact. Were you aware there are 4 types of entrepreneurship? Small, large, scalable startup, and social. So when we return, I will have 2 of my phenomenal guests right here from Alabama, and we're going to start pulling the mask back on entrepreneurship. So we'll be right back. And we're back, and I have my awesome guest, Miss Trenekia and Miss Belinda here with us. So thank you for being here with me today. We're going to try to see if we can pull back some things on entrepreneurship. So tell me, each of you, the type of companies you both have.
Okay, well, I actually have an insurance and financial investments company where you can purchase anything from life insurance to long-term care, disability. I can also help with investments, rollover 401k plans, help you with estate planning and wills.
Okay, and we definitely need that. Stop doing GoFundMe's, but we're gonna get into that. What do you?
I have a production company, Belinda Mullen Productions.
Okay.
I am a writer, lyricist, and a new producer. So I have Belinda Mullen Productions from a play that was produced.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the world of media and chaos.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Yes, it is.
Chaos.
Absolutely.
What inspired both of you to open up your own companies and have your own business and work for yourself?
Well, it's several factors, but being in corporate America as a female, I always knew as a young child that I kind of wanted to do my own thing. But going through more and more jobs in corporate America, I realized sometimes that I didn't have control. Like if I would come into an environment and I didn't like certain things, or the way I was treated, or the tasks I had to do, or my skill set didn't match my job, I always knew that I wanted to have a company to where I could treat once I got employees, I could treat them the way that I would want to be treated. And so that was always my number one goal. And then it touched me that, once I got into the financial, insurance and everything with different companies, it touched me that had I known a lot of the things that I know, today, had I known them yesterday, I would be a lot further along. And being that I'm from a small area, I wanted to come back and bring the education that I had obtained through all the years and at the different companies back to my small town. So my town, and just wanting to help others, because like I think somebody said earlier, each one teach one. If we bring our knowledge back, then it can only help us get stronger as a community. So that's been a lot of my inspiration.
And what about you?
Well, my story goes back to childhood, actually. I excelled in school. It was great. But I too worked in corporate America. And I found myself excelling up the ladder, which was fine. But it was empty, and I didn't know why. I came home here in Alabama to take care of my sick father for the last 14 and a half years. And while here, I was sharing with Trenekia earlier. I was in a church service, and we were waiting for the woman's father's funeral. We were between service and the funeral. And she came to me and she says, the Lord wanted me to tell you something. Now, it has been my experience. Lord, they're going to tell me I'm supposed to preach. Father, I'm going to tell all. Get ready. And I said, Lord, here comes another one, Lord, because I was just at a conference in Demopolis, Alabama, and I had to tell a lady minister she was lying, because she said, the Lord told me to tell you he's going to preach. No, he didn't tell you that. That's not what he told you. I teach,
Did
yes.
you tell the lady that?
In the service. Yeah, very unpopular. And this young lady said, well, the Lord wanted me to tell you that you're supposed to be writing. And I looked at her because nobody knew that I wrote. Besides my mother, nobody knew. And she said, you're supposed to write, and God placed you on the earth to write. And it touched me deeply to the point that I had to pray and repent. And so I began writing. And in doing so, I was introduced to some people, and God gave me the women He wanted me to use in the play that was written. And I had actually talked to them a couple of years before I had finished, and I had taken care of my father and a whole lot of health concerns. I actually went to Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And the first night there, with a pencil and a notebook, I wrote the play in a couple of hours. I prayed, and I want to say I was a secretary. He dictated, and I wrote the dictation, and it began. So,
how I think a lot of times today in this time, people are so caught up with titles, and they want to have a business, and they want to say they own a business. How important it is to know how to run the business that you're trying to create. Do you think?
Yes, that was not my problem. I did not want to own a business. I didn't see myself as a business owner, especially in writing, because I'm thinking that's just a talent. How can I make that commercialized? How can I make it profitable? And then the trajectory of all of that changed for me, in that you can actually put this thing that you're doing is being done every day. You're looking at garbage on television.
Exactly.
Why not do something that can benefit people and to empower women to go forward? And my focus was on women in the church. Because in the play that I wrote, there's no voice for women in the church. We suffer all kinds of disparaging things, and we don't discuss them. We just shout, say hallelujah, and throw a Bible, and we get up in our tears and we leave and go home. To our, and we're encapsulated with our sorrows. But I too felt the same way. And as far as business is concerned, I'm just like, Lord, what am I supposed to do? So I don't know, a hill of beans. How am I to go forward?
What was the first thing that you did when you got ready to start your business? And the same for you. What was the first thing you guys did when you decided, okay, I'm gonna start this business?
I did research. I researched.
My favorite word.
Oh yeah, I had to dig down. I had to read. I had to learn. I had to learn. And then once I learned, I had to implement what I learned. I'm still facing some fears. There's still some challenges and personalities.
There will always be.
There are hurdles that I'm going through. My mentor, I'm not going to say her name right now, she pushes me to greatness. And she says, there's a lot more things that you can do. But for as business is concerned, I'm like, yeah, but I got to deal with the IRS. I have to deal with taxes. I need a tax advisor. I need a financial planner. God, this is kismet, God. Thank you, Lord. You know, and I said, so there are just things that I have to do if I'm going to be in business to be successful. I don't want to fail. And my biggest fear is failure. I have a fear of failure. And sometimes that gets in my way and I can't move forward. But I am putting my nose to the grindstone and going on. So researching businesses, researching what I need to do to start this thing legally. Who to talk to, what I need to do, what support I need.
And I agree totally. I went to school for business, and then I also went back and got my master's in business. Because at one point in time, my mom thought I was going to actually make a career out of school, because I was just so confused at what I wanted to do. I just said, well, let me get as much education as I can, and then when I get out, maybe I will know. So that actually helped me, because I learned not only how to run a business, but I also will tell people, I still will tell people to this day, it's nothing like experience. Experience is the best teacher. You can have all the degrees and licenses and things in the world, but until you get out there and you do it, then you learn, like you said, things about the IRS. I have an employee that I pay right now. So, it's taxes, how much withholdings, and, how to mentor her, because actually now, I'm in another city and she's here running the business for me. So she calls upon me a lot. So I'm having to teach her how to be, more independent sometimes, or, that, you're basically responsible for somebody. So it's a lot of things that the business entails, but I too did research. I knew I wanted to get the business up running pretty quickly, and I knew you have to use your resources that are in front of you. And like they say, there's a term that goes, you have to pay to play. I let, LegalZoom do a Rocket Lawyer. I let them do my incorporation. I knew how to do it, but I didn't have time to do it.
Yeah.
I let them did all of that. So they were able to basically, I applied for my own EIN number because that's free. Anything that I could do free and wouldn't take a few minutes, I let them did it. But I did as many resources and as many things as I could. I even called first because I wanted a building here because I felt like in order for me to get a presence here.
Well, I'll hold you right there. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and I want to get into that. Owning the storefront, and also how important it is to have a good team. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Willie Adolph of the Adolph Group at Equity House Properties. I'm here today to talk to you about home purchasing. A lot of times people want to know, where do we start? When do we start? How much do we need to save? What does our credit score need to be like? Can I really move in now? And the answer is yes. The thing is that you want to get pre-approved first before you even go house shopping, because what you wouldn't want to happen is that you find the perfect home, but the bank won't qualify you for your mortgage. So always get pre-approved first. So find a good lender, which we have a lot of resources for you on that. Second, you want to make sure that anything that's on your credit, if it's something that you can work with, let's work with it, because everything on your credit, it depends on what it is for each mortgage company. And third, once you get that pre-approval, now it's time to go house shopping. Now, Willie, what about the money, the down payment and things like that? Well, they have a lot of programs that's out there. So based on your credit will depend on the down payment assistance that you can receive. But we do have a lot of resources and a lot of things that can help you. And everyone with the Adolph Group will hold you by your hand and walk you through the whole process. So you can contact us at www.theadolphgroup.com or 281-451-7087. And remember, when you have will, you have a way.
And we're back with my awesome guest. So I want to pick back on what you were saying. So let's start with how important it is to find a good team. Because I've had to learn that over my 10 years. That you really have to have a good team of people working with you. So what do you guys think about that?
Well,
because I know you said you have someone working for you here. How did you let go and put your trust in that person because I don't do well with that at all. I don't.
It is kind of hard because like you said, one of the things I like about her is that, what's funny is that her sister initially came in to work for me because she got a license and everybody was telling her that I was, had put an insurance business, I had an insurance business, and so maybe she come out and work with me. And so I pushed her sister to get a license and everything, she got her license and things just didn't go kind of the way that she wanted. And she was telling me that her sister wanted to come in and talk to me. And I said, well, right now we have to get, start seeing some profit before I hire anybody else. But her sister kept coming in and I said, well, maybe in January I'm going to need somebody, because, you know, it seemed like her sister was kind of out the door, because insurance sales is not for everybody. Investment sales is not for everybody. So I said that God sent her there because I loved her personality. We clicked. We just kind of clicked. She's a very loyal person. She was teachable. And that's the thing that I find, you know, that's not easy. It's, you can have people that have all the qualities in the world, but if they're not teachable and they don't listen, I've been in the industry for 6 or 7 years. Why reinvent the wheel if it's working?
Exactly.
And so, you know, she was teachable. We clicked. She was honest. She was willing to learn. And over time, we worked together. We were so close, and we almost became like family. And, you know, God just kind of, you know, was telling me that this is your person. So I just accepted I always say I'm very intuitive. I kind of accepted the fact that we kind of clicked.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my intuition has not led me wrong with her. You know, she's very loyal. We talk, we vent. You know, she has my back when there's something going on. You know, if I'm dealing with something up there, she'll tell me, don't you worry about what's going on down here. I have this taken care of. And there's nothing like knowing that something is going on with your business and you're not there, but to have somebody that you found that you can trust, that can tell you, you go to sleep, I got this.
And that's what I have
she
in my,
gives me.
That's what I have in my assistant. She will do that. And even when I go off the hinges and want to cuss folks out, she'll tell me, her words to me is breathe. She just be like, breathe, please. You need to breathe. And she'll tell me, I got it. You know, so I do have that in my assistant. I really do. What about you?
That's remarkable. Well, I'm a one-woman show.
You can't be. I'm learning that you can't be a one-woman show.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
At best, it's exhausting. But my best example is during the production of the play, I had relatives who were ill across country. So I'm traveling from Chicago to Alabama, back and forth. And the ladies that were in the play, I was absolutely able to release. Now, I'm not going to lie, we were having Zoom calls in the middle of the night. 3 o'clock in the morning, if I thought of something, I'm texting, pick up. They were very patient with me, thank God. But I was able to trust them. And that's a hard thing to find.
Yeah.
It took prayer. It did. And I know that doesn't sound practical in these economic times, but for me, it took prayer. I had to pray and ask God to lead me to the women who could be trusted. And this is my baby. I wrote this myself, blood, sweat, and tears. And we're about to go to production. Belinda is killing me. Jesus help me. And she's cracking the whips, but Belinda, don't worry about it. I got this. Let it go. We had opinions, but we were all able to come together and work it out so that it was a success. But the thing is, I am in rural Alabama, Lord Jesus, and I am embarking on a brand new media here in rural Alabama. And doors were shut, venues and places were shut in my face, was the wrong color.
So let me ask this, because my entrepreneurs in Houston talked about how some of them have storefronts. And they talked about how it was very hard to open up a storefront, how they would go to banks and were told no numerous of times and so forth and so on. How is that in the South? Because the South, it's different. It's different way of thinking, different way of living, all of that. How is that to open up? Because you're about to say how the doors were shut on you numerous of times. And then you have a storefront as well.
I don't have a storefront. I'm working out of my home. And my example is I am a native of this area. I left this area, came back to this area. I started off wrong. My mother was a Yankee. My mother was born in New York. That put me at a disadvantage. We lived in a predominantly white area in the 60s. That put me at a disadvantage. Not just with the black constituencies, but the white as well. So my dichotomy is a little bit different. So I'm a little bit boisterous. There's just certain things I'm not going to accept. You can't tell me what I can't have. I'm in America. Forget what color I am.
Exactly.
But they don't want you to have these things. And when that click shuts down and the telephones calls are made, don't let her do this, do that. It's extremely hard. Extremely hard. But I'm not giving up.
So, let me make sure I understand. So, being in a rural area, and that much smaller than Houston, one person make a phone call, one person make another phone call, another person make another, and then that's, you like blackballed, basically.
I was.
Oh, wow.
I can honestly say that that's one reason why I knew that it was my time, because things were kind of happening easier than I expected. You know, the ladies that I leased from, you know, they're sisters and they own the entire shopping plaza. I called around for a few times and I asked everybody I called around with, they were pretty friendly. I met her, and to be honest, this lady, she didn't ask me for, you know, me and my husband talked to her. I told her what I was trying to do. I told her why I wanted to come back here. I told her why I was so passionate about it. I graduated with her niece. She kind of knew, you know, I graduated with her niece. She had this look in her eyes like, I'm so glad that you decided to bring this back to your community. A lot of people decide to take their talents and take them somewhere else. This lady asked me for a note. I told her what my husband did, you know, what my plan was. She asked me for no business plan. She asked me for nothing. Basically, she asked me how long would I sign the contract for and what the first month's rent was. And this lady has worked with me tremendously through COVID.
And that's a blessing.
That's almost unheard of.
Yeah.
So I have just the opposite experience, but I will say this, because I knew a lot of people, you know, like when I left right after college, and so a lot of people don't really know me. They know my family members, but they don't know me. And so I'm looked at as like kind of quiet, you know, minds her business, you know, will speak her mind. But I know a lot of people here that kind of may have that mentality, they kind of know people. And so that was one of the things she asked me was, you know, who's your relatives? And, you know, who do you know? And I found that's helped me along the way too. There is a such thing as an in crowd here. And once you get in that in crowd, it's like people are more willing to help you. But this lady stepped out on faith and decided to take a chance in me. I will say that. But I understand exactly where you're coming from. It takes some time. And I found out me being younger, and I think that helped a lot because she felt so passionate about a young person deciding to come back here to their hometown and give back to their community. And at the time, she said she did not want just any kind of office, any kind of business in her plaza. And she when I first opened up, I was with New York Life. That's a big name. I was bringing a big name into her plaza that was going to make her look good as well.
And then you educating people.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of what got me in is the name of the company, what I was doing, my passion behind it, and the fact that she kind of felt like my husband was kind of going to be there to support whatever it was I did.
And that was my downplay. I did not have a big name. There was no corporate association with me. Here, with me saying I'm a writer, a lyricist, a songwriter, like, well, how are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to pay the bill? Well, my credit is fine. I have good relationships with my banks, I say that plurally, more than one bank. I have relationships with banks across the country. That didn't make a difference. It did not. I pulled out a check from one of the top 5 banks in the country here. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. Where'd you get this from? How do you know these people? What is the association? How can you pay for this? That's the type of thing that I've been experiencing.
But don't stop.
Oh, I won't.
Don't stop. Continue on, because one day they will know your name.
Exactly.
And then they're going to be calling you and saying, can you come? Can you do this? Can you help with this? So don't stop. I say to young ladies, just because you might not see someone of color doing something that you have in your mind to do it anyway. Do it anyway. You might be the first one to start it. Like I tell people, I was told I couldn't do this. I was told this by a family member, my niece. One of my nieces, she said, "You want to do what? You want to start a TV show?" She fell out laughing. 10 years later, this is what I have been doing. And I think now they kind of take it seriously now. So don't stop with what you're doing. I would say, what are some tips you would like to give to someone that wants to start a business, but they're scared? Because you don't have that name, you're not in that clique and all that stuff. I wasn't in a clique. I was not in a clique. Nobody know. I've been in Houston almost 30 years. No one really knows, unless you really, really know me and we sometimes in that same circles, you don't really know me. But I make my own name for myself. You know, the show speaks for itself, the product speaks for itself. So what tips would you give someone that wants to start a business but is scared to?
Just start. If you don't start,
Simple.
it's just, you just start.
Yeah.
You have to start from somewhere. Just start. You may fail.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Lord knows, it is not easy.
No, it's not.
Just start. And once you start, tenacity is my biggest friend. I just have to keep going. Now, my biggest downfall is I take on the responsibilities of others. And I sometimes let that get in the way of my business. Belinda, Lord Jesus.
Learn how to say no.
I'm learning how to say no. I started saying no 2 weeks ago. Seriously.
Yeah, it's a
No, seriously.
It's a wonderful thing. I learned last year. Learn how to say no.
It took me 3 years to say no. And I said no one day. I said, no, I'm not doing that. And the world did not stop. And I was like, wow, I can say no.
Proud of you.
You know, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. It works. But yeah, just start. Just start. Just start. Get going. Do something. Pick a point of reference and move towards that. You may fall. It may seem like you're failing. Failure is not failure. It's just an opportunity to move in a different direction. And that's what I found.
And you know, I'll say this, since I've started my business down here, I've had so many people inbox me and say, "What did you do? And what did you do to get your business started? Can I help you? You know, can you help me to do the same thing?" I'm one of those people, I've always been what you call a giver. And my mom was like, "Well, you brought your business here in Demopolis. You could have opened up your business anywhere. Why Demopolis?" You know, people aren't going to support you because that's just their mentality. You know, people don't want to support you because they don't want to feel like they're helping you get to where you're trying to get to. And, you know, I was told a lot of things, you know, about, you know, my mom meant that to be positive because she didn't want to see her daughter hurt. But a lot of family members, you know, friends or whatever, they would come to me, they would get the information, and then they would go next door to the other person and get the, you know, get the product. And I went through a lot of that, but what I realized is that, you know, it's going to take some time. And like you said, you start, perseverance is something that you have to keep doing. There are so many days when I wanted to say, you know what, it'll be so much easier for me to just go back into corporate America. But I love helping people. I love making a difference, and it's nothing like financial freedom. You know, your finances not being together, your credit not being together, those are things that keep you up at night. And if those things aren't together, then, you know, you don't have a peace of mind. So that's what keeps me going. The money, you find something you love and the money will come. I do this because I like to do it, and I like, you know, I like to be able to help people. And I like when young people come to me and say, "Can you help me to get started?"
Yeah.
Because we all have to pull together. It's no reason why you should feel like, well, I'm not going to come do business with her because I'm helping her to get richer. You know, I've had to tell people.
But that's the mentality of some
That's
a
the
lot of
mentality
people.
of a lot
And
of
that's
people
not
here.
just that's not in the South. It's in a lot of places. That's the mentality of a lot of people. I would say just keep going. I mean, because for 8 of the 10 years I've been doing this, I said I want to quit every day and cry every day and said I want to quit every day. And when I first started this, friends, "Why are you doing this? You're not making no money." Most of them thought it was a hobby. And I went from access cable, from taping in a sip and serve internet cafe for my first ever show to going into a full studio, from being on access cable for 10 years now to all streaming platforms.
So you're an inspiration.
Keep going. And in the midst of doing this, I've been homeless. Have traveled around with stuff in the car. I've done all that.
Really?
And still on TV. And nobody knows.
That is
So
remarkable.
people tell me, why are you still doing this? But look how far I've come. And my own friend, she works on my traveling team. She told me the other day, she said, "Aren't you glad you didn't quit?" That's what she told me. So no, you definitely have to keep going. You keep going because you're just starting in it. So definitely don't stop. Keep going.
I will.
Most definitely keep going. And I love what you're doing because people need to be educated. All these GoFundMe accounts when folks die, that's a whole nother
Oh, I'm
show.
doing that right now. Oh, let me stop talking.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. Them GoFundMe accounts and raising. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother show. But I want to thank both of you guys for being here with me today. I'm super excited about being here in Alabama and talking with people here in Alabama. So when we return, we'll be closing out this show.
Do you have less than perfect credit? Are you getting denied for loans and credit cards? Well, contact us today for your free consultation and learn the secrets of financial freedom. We can help with late payments, collections, judgments, bankruptcies, will, trust, and more. We get results. Let us help you. For more information, contact Nikki Ferguson at 281-788-9462.
$100 on chicken nuggets?
$100 on chicken nuggets. Really?
How'd you get in my house?
I'm with Wisdom Tax.
Wisdom Tax, so you can help me with all of this.
Most definitely. Looks like you need help in bookkeeping.
So what about maximizing my refund?
We can only maximize your refund if you get organized. Here at Wisdom Tax and Financial, we teach you how to be free. 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 Free.
Free! Awesome! So I can be free of these receipts.
Most definitely. Please give us a call.
Thank you. Can you free yourself out of my house, please?
Only if you promise to give us a call.
I'll give you a call. So I can be free.
Wisdom Tax. Learn to be free.
3, 2. So I want to thank all my guests for being here with me today in the studio. If you need any information on these guests, contact the Our Life TV Show at gmail.com or the OnPoint Network for any information on the guests we had today on the Entrepreneur Show. Always remember, guys, to encourage, empower, pull up to the table without fear but with confidence, and continue